How's it going? Trying to move to the attic, but trying to get a good space for this. Alright, I'm gonna do some kettlebell work. I was into the whole powerlifting, power building thing, but I just ended up getting kind of bored, and I wanted to come back to this. And the back's feeling better, so I figured, why the hell not? Come back to what I love the most. Snatches. I'm going to start with an 18 kilo bell. 10 minutes on. Then there's a minute. Well, there's 6 10-minute rounds. So the goal here, I'm just using 18 and 20. So on my first set of 18, we're going to start up slowly. It's going to be 8 reps on the minute per arm. Then the next round will be 9 reps per arm, and then 10. So in half an hour, that'll be 270 reps per arm, if my math is correct, and it is. And then for the second half hour, same thing with the 20, but I'll start at 10. So basically the goal is 540 reps per arm with an 18 and a 20 kilo bell, 1,080 snatches in an hour. I don't know if my cardio will hold up. I'm going to take off these pants for my exercise shorts, so don't cry. Just so it's a little more flexible. Okay. So 8 reps. Pretty good. I know I can still maintain 10 reps in 10 minutes. So, me starting at 8 here is just to kind of warm up to it nicely. Also, I'm in the attic and it's hot up here. This is a fair bit of work. Even if I only hit the half an hour, that's still going to be 540 in half an hour, which is, it would be a rep PR with this weight. Okay. Feels good. I really do prefer the kettlebells and the barbells. The barbells are fun, but this is just more functional. And I don't really like that word, but it just is. When the inevitable collapse of the country, the U.S. happens, and the Civil War breaks out, you need to be in shape because we're all getting drafted. A 315 bench ain't gonna help you running through buildings shooting commies and Muslims. Okay? It's not gonna help. If you get attacked by a pack of blacks or Muslims, if you live in Michigan, a 300-pound bench isn't gonna help you. At least if you do shit like this, you'll be able to outrun them if you need to run them instead of fighting. And the way the law is now, you're better off running because they'll arrest you for defending yourself against the brown orcs. I just call them orcs. Thanks, D&D, for that one. So yeah, this kind of training is way more practical for real life than lifting weights in an air-conditioned gym. Even just the heat in the attic from early autumn. It's September 30 right now. That builds your endurance too. Weather absolutely plays an effect on how much work you can do, both hot and cold. So it's just way more practical. So yeah, this is better. And I don't want these things to happen, but they're probably gonna happen. In other news, punk ass, predictably, did not follow through with his threats, and I didn't have to whoop his ass. So yeah, I didn't think you would. Most of the people that threaten me don't ever deliver. Okay, we got that first minute. I decided not to use a 24 just because I haven't trained high volume snatches in a while. Since mid-July, really. And I've been focusing on the barbell since July. So I just opted for the 18 and the 20. But yeah, the 18 and the 20. So this next 10 minutes we'll go to 9 reps on the 18. But yeah, I haven't worked at Walgreens in a year, like officially a year. To the date, a year to the date tomorrow, October 1st. So I don't know why these people still keep fucking with me. Calluses, man. Training barbells really doesn't toughen the hands up anywhere near as much as kettlebells. And now I'm starting to tear those again. I'm gonna sit down on it now. A little easier on the grip. because it's hotter up here, I'm sweating more. So the grip is challenged more. Yeah, that sucks. This is a technique I try to reserve for when my grip starts to go for whatever reason. I did not think getting back to high volume planks would be difficult like this. It just goes to show how much fitness I gave up for marginal size and strength gains. I think guys, I think that it wasn't worth it. Nah, it wasn't worth it. It's not like I wasn't doing cardio. I was just doing normie cardio. This is why I laugh at people who tell you you gotta run. Kettlebells are the ultimate conditioning tool. The ultimate conditioning tool. Okay. Just so you know, I ain't faking. And yeah, the heat has something to do with it. But as I said, I'm going to pause that for a while. I'm going to breathe. I want to finish the session. But I ain't doing it right now. Like, I'm just not going to be able to do 10s. It's not happening. Yeah, training in the weather. That is a part of conditioning. And I'm not used to that at all. The past almost 3 months, the most intensity I've done with kettlebells, I did a 10-minute set of 10 on the snatch with the 18 a couple times here and there. Earlier on in the weight training, I recorded some double swing and clean and press. I eventually traded that off for treadmill shit on the off days. Incline, sprints, and it's just not the same. What kettlebell training does, if you train in the ballistics like I've preached, it builds you up. Your heart rate is damn near at max. You get a little bit of a rest in between the minutes. I had maybe what, 20 seconds, 15 seconds tops, maybe, because I know I'm a bit slower. It's not a lot, and your heart rate's up, so your body has to sustain that for prolonged periods of time. So yeah, first it chews through your anaerobic system, and then you're on to the aerobic system. And it's not like I haven't been eating. I've been eating a lot of carbs. But what this type of training does is once you burn through that glycogen, right? Once you burn through the ATP or whatever, you just kind of have to cruise on discipline and technique, because you're at your aerobic point now. But you're training it at ridiculously high thresholds. This is why when my kettlebell training is at its peak, I can go run a 10K in about 30 minutes without training for running. This is why I can go to the gym and not lose any strength on anything except bench press. In the case of the deadlift, even gain strength. It's because your nervous system, your body, everything is firing every rep as a unit when you do these lifts. This same principle of this full body explosive training, but it's scaled up more towards strength and raw explosiveness. This is why your Olympic weightlifters are so damn strong and so jacked. It's the same principles, but it's shifted more towards strength. Those exercises incorporate the whole body firing as a unit at the same time. For them, it's all about maximal strength. But I guarantee you, those guys have great conditioning too. Because those lifts like that, if you think 20 minutes of this is hard, and it is, just try doing snatches with 120 kilos on the bar over and over and over and over all day, drilling the technique. You know, like that's like 265, I believe. 120 kilos, about 265 pounds. Most Olympic lifters can warm up with that weight. Like, that's nothing to them in a single lift, but they train 1 rep, 2 reps, doubles and triples. Have you ever seen an Olympic weightlifter session? That shit can go upwards of 2 hours because of the way they train force production. It is probably it's definitely the most powerful way to lift, to train. It should be called powerlifting, and powerlifting should be called weightlifting, because essentially that's what it is, but whatever. You get the point. These lifts just wreck your nervous system. But when you do it over and over and over again, and you build up and you build up and you build up, you adapt to it. It takes a while, but you adapt to it. And once you're adapted to it, there isn't really any physical thing that you can't do, honestly. And that's why kettlebell training is my favorite training. Hands the fuck down. Like, it's not even close. This is the best training. Like, the only lift that I lose strength on if I train kettlebells for a prolonged period of time, mind you, at a high intensity. If I slack off, obviously, it's not going to be the same. But if I'm training like this regularly, and beyond this, which is what I normally do when I'm on point, going to the gym and squatting 300 some pounds is not hard. Deadlifting 4 plates, 405 is not hard. Yeah, it's just different. This is hard. Pushing through this is hard. Going to the gym and lifting heavy weights is not hard. I would say that lifting heavy weights isn't even all that stressful on your system unless you're really out of shape. All right, it's been about 6 minutes. I don't rest this long in a powerlifting session. Working up to a max. And during that, I'm recovered to hit the next weight on the list for the day. It's a different type of punishment. It's a different type of training. I've done 190 reps per arm. That's the most amount of snatch work I've done since before the 4th of July. All right, 7 minutes. I'm going to turn the timer back on. I've been kind of sick for a while, obviously. So, I'm sure that's not helping either. Just feeling a little dizzy. Probably shouldn't have sat down. Okay, we're gonna give it one more minute here. Tell you what, I need some fucking water. I should have brought water. Some electrolyte powder, maybe. $200 per arm. Nah. Totally cooked, guys. I'm not really sure why I thought I could go an hour when I haven't really done more than 10 minutes of snatches in almost a full 3 months. Pretty much a full 3 months. Like, I don't know why I thought I could do an hour. Especially not up here in the attic where it's 15 degrees warmer. So downstairs it's about 74. Pretty comfortable. Up here it's like 90. So in peak summer it gets over 100. That's why I moved the weights into the kitchen of the apartment, because too hot. Training in the elements is nice to a point, but once you're in a room with no airflow and it's over 100 degrees, you kind of risk passing out, which I have almost done before a couple of years ago in September. But yeah, there you go. That's how much my conditioning has degraded since July. From omitting kettlebells for the most part and focusing on powerlifting. And I'm sure the weight gain hasn't helped. You know, I'm about 220, so 100 kilos. When I was starting to, back in the spring when I was really peaking with kettlebell intensity, I was like 205. Oh, so exercise bike. It's a shitty one, but it works. So I'll just hop on here. I'm completely soaked. Growing his beard here for Halloween. It'd be Kratos if I'm still kicking at that point. You never know. When I use the that's another thing I was doing when I was lifting weights, was using the exercise bike like an hour or so every other day. You know, the steady state cardio that everybody tells you is best. It doesn't. It's shit. Like, it doesn't carry over to anything. It might help you live a little bit longer if you're sedentary, but for performance sake, this steady state cardio is trash. Because all it equates to is going for a fucking walk. Now, if you just want to be healthier and lose some weight, casually riding an exercise bike. Let me see, I was doing 15 miles in an hour at a casual pace for me. So that was not a consistent 15, by the way. That was an average pace of around 12 and a half mixed with sprints on the bike. But for me, that's casual, right? Like, it's not that difficult. So the intensity of this exercise bike goes up to 8. I would usually use it on 5. So I guess that's like a mild hill. So right now it's on 4 and it's really easy. But yeah, this type of training is, like, I guess it's fine if you just want to be a bit healthy. Maybe lose some weight with a proper diet. But if you have actual fucking performance goals, this is completely worthless. Going on a 5-mile walk is useless. It's not doing anything for you. The reason that this type of exercise is considered effective is because your average person is so horribly detrained and so sedentary, and all they do is sit all day long and eat junk food, that what should be basic normal activity shows ridiculous results every time they test it. And it just, like I said, if you have performance goals, you have to train hard. Like, you actually have to push yourself. If you want to get really strong, you have to go to the gym and you have to lift really heavy. You can't just go to the gym and do 65% of your 1 rep max and get strong that way. Doesn't work. You can't go to the gym and do 5 sets of 10 and get strong. For me, when I was doing it and doing new PRs every week or every other week, if not a weight PR, a rep PR, I would train on squat, for example, sets of 6 to 8 with no less than 80% of my max. Okay? Set triples with 90% of my max, 92%. That adds weight. Bench press, same thing. Sets of 5, 6, 7, 75% plus. 80%. Triples with 90%. Ascending triples that started at 90, then 92, then 95 of the 1 rep max that I had just set that week. Deadlifts. Deadlifts is the one that you could actually get away with training lighter. That's a different lift. It hits different. Okay? In fact, I would say you can get strong at deadlift without even training deadlift. Beyond maybe some light Romanians. If you just push the squat up. So if you just get stronger at squat, like my deadlift got better from doing kettlebells. Like doing double 24s. To an extent, I really feel like the deadlift is just, to be really strong at deadlift, your nervous, yes, you have to be strong, you have to have strong tendons and everything, but your nervous system has to be able to fire quickly, explosively, instantaneously to pull the weight up. So you can get strong at deadlift without training deadlift. Some of my best deadlifts are without training heavy deadlifts. Like when I hit 405, the heaviest that I trained my deadlift was 315. When I hit 335 on that first video that I uploaded within the gym back in early July, I had not trained barbells in almost a year and a half at that point. And I hit a deadlift PR back then, 3 months ago. The PR after that, the 365, I wasn't training deadlift beyond 285. So in my experience, that's the one barbell lift that you can increase strength on without actually training heavy, and you probably shouldn't train heavy, because the last time I tried deadlifts, last Saturday, after that squat PR and that 20 rep with 225 I posted, and then I did bench press triples. That's when I did the ascending triples at 90, 92, and 95. I couldn't get 275 off the ground on a deadlift because my nervous system was just shut at that point. So yeah. But your squat and your bench press, you have to push hard. Deadlift, you don't have to push too hard. You can coast by moderate weight 2 or 3 times a week with some Romanians and only training the actual deadlift. You could probably train conventional deadlift every other week if your goal is to just be strong, but not like, obviously if you want to be an elite deadlifter, you have to train more than that. But I fully believe that you can get to like a 4-plate deadlift, training deadlift every other week. Conventional. You still have to pull, but you can do Romanians. And just push the squat. If you want to be a bodybuilder, guess what? Training for bodybuilding is way fucking harder than training for powerlifting. Training for powerlifting is easy. The hard part about powerlifting is the psychological impact of maxing out every week. And you do have to max every week. Okay? Until you get to very elite levels, you have to add more weight every week for a rep. I don't care what any of these dudes say. Okay? You have to do it on your squat and your bench press. That is the only way you're going to get stronger. Deadlift, I already said not so much. But if you're training for bodybuilding, it's even harder because the weight's not as heavy. But pushing through that burn, oh my god, that sucks. That 20 rep squat set I did was way fucking harder than the max rep I did at the start of the session. Well, not at the start of the session, but you know what I mean. It was way harder than the 90% with 5 reps with 90%. Or I'm sorry, the triple with 95% of the max, and the 5 after the triple with 90% of the max of that day. that 20 rep squat set was at that time the hardest thing I had done since I stopped training kettlebells regularly. Since I had focused on the gym. So, yeah, you gotta train fucking hard. Whatever you're doing. You're not gonna make real progress if you train like a bitch. Or just ride an exercise bike. And I know I'm on an exercise bike. But that's to get a little bit extra in and to calm the heart rate down without doing anything else. And right now my casual speed here is like 13. And that's after doing 200 snatches per arm. And you see how hard that was for me. You can go back to May on my timeline here. I was doing a fucking hour. The last big snatch workout I did was an hour. It was an 18, and then double 18s, and then a 20, and then double 20s, and a 24. And I mean, I couldn't get double 24, so I did a single 24 again. But it was for an hour, and I set rep PRs on every single one. So that's how much fitness I have lost fucking around with the gym. And as I've said, fucking around with the gym is not that effective for everyday life. Because guess what? And this applies to your world's strongest man, right? Being able to deadlift 1,100 and some odd pounds is really awesome, okay? But if you got to lift a log, like a big ass tree, let's say you find a down tree in front of you, it's not really going to help too much. Because you're still not going to be able to lift the fucking tree. You're going to chainsaw it. Or get a bunch of people to move it. Because it doesn't matter how strong you get, you're not going to be strong enough to warrant being as strong as, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, maybe you can lift an engine block. I don't know, because that's awkward. That's more like lifting a sandbag, which if you haven't lifted sandbags, that's hard too. Like, that's really hard. That's harder than lifting barbells because it's so awkward. It's just, it's really cool, but at the end of the day, it doesn't mean anything. And like I said, with the way shit's popping off now, you have fucking jihadis taking over Michigan, or at least eastern Michigan. You have violent Somalians over in Minnesota trying to take over. And those people are fucking more volatile than chimpanzees. Okay? You have fucking open communists calling for the death of mild conservatives like Charlie Kirk. You have people like Hassan Piker saying that you should be disemboweled if you're a conservative. And Destiny saying that you should be killed and afraid to speak your opinions about anything. Mainstream fucking left-wing lunatics. You have half of the black male population out murdering and criming, not just per capita, but just straight up in sheer numbers, committing more crime than every other group of people in the fucking country. Black women commit more crime than white men, for fuck's sake. Black women commit more racial crime than white men. You're 11 times more likely to be the victim of black crime in the U.S. if you're white than the other way around. They're 13% of the population, roughly. We'll say 15% now. There hasn't been a census in a while. Half of them can't stand the violent half. So it's half of the black population committing all these crimes. And of that half, 2/3 is black males between the ages of 14 and 50. And like I said, the other half of the black population, or at least 25% of them, doesn't want anything to do with them either. And let's not forget the number one victim of black crime is other blacks. So this country's going to shit. You have people on all sides, if you're white, that want you dead. The media won't cover the outrage. The media will call you a racist for calling attention to it. So, you gotta be fit. You gotta have weapons training. You gotta be prepared for shit hitting the fan, okay? And I know it sounds dumb. You might be like, well, how does being fit help if there's like a war? Well, first of all, it would be urban warfare. It's a little bit different. You're running around, skirmishes and all that shit. But secondly, even if shit doesn't hit the fan, if you're really fit and you walk strong and you have, a concealed carry and you know how to defend yourself, go take boxing lessons. Boxing is the best martial art for street fights. It teaches you how to get the fuck out of the way, how to hit people fast, and just put them down. Like, get out of the way. Don't grapple in the streets. It's retarded. Unless it's 100% one-on-one. 99% of the time, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 of them. In which case, you need to run or pull out a gun. And being really fit means you can outrun them. But even still, just being fit, these people aren't going to fuck with you. They'll threaten you. And I say this as somebody who has been harassed by violent crackheads because I kicked them out of my store for stealing. They won't do shit if you just stand your ground. And how do you stand your ground? You're strong. You're confident. You know how to defend yourself. It's just an aura check, really. And then these people they cower off. They stop. They stop what they're doing. And they go away. They'll call you every name in the book, but they'll run away with their tail between their legs. Because they're fucking cowards. So yeah, being fit, it's useful for more than just being fit. Like I said, I think kettlebells is the best way to do that. And yeah, and this should show you all what a difference training in the environment makes. It's real easy to go to the gym, the air-conditioned gym, and train hard. It's totally different to lock yourself in a hot room with little to no airflow and keep training at a really high intensity. There's a reason I used to call this the hyperbolic time chamber, the room of spirit and time. For any Dragon Ball fans. Listen to that sloshing noise. That's how soaked through I am. It's ridiculous. I'm going to go till this is at an hour, because that'll give me about 20 minutes on the bike post snatch training. It's just a little extra. I can check here, see where I'm at. It says I've gone about 3.5 miles. So this is what I'm saying, like, biking's easy. This is a super casual pace for me. At literally half the intensity of the bike offers. And I'm able to carry a full-blown conversation. I've been on it for 18 minutes. So I'm going to go 2 more minutes here for 20 minutes and then I'm done. Kettlebell training is back on the menu, boys. Because I do not like how much fitness I've lost trying to pursue these strength goals. Yeah, it's cool to lift more weight in the gym than everybody else. Yeah, being bigger is cooler. But I'm not that much more muscular. I'm more fat, honestly. And not from not training hard. I've been training really hard with this. It's just that it doesn't burn the amount of calories. And like, you still have to eat. If you want to get stronger, you have to eat too. You have to train really hard and you have to eat a lot. But what does it for me is just the loss of fitness. And like, I can go to the gym and I can get on the treadmill and I can run hard and I can run at an incline and I can do sprints. But I can't train this the way I did before. This was the benchmark of my fitness. And seeing like how much effort I put into it and how I've regressed in a couple months doesn't sit well with me. So I need to go back to being the apex, the pinnacle. I need to get back to my pinnacle at the top of the mountain. Because right now, I'm not confident in saying you can't do what I do. Because honestly, you probably can now. I think a lot of these people could meet me at this level, and I don't like it. I think I proved to myself, at least, that I can get to their level with their strength training, their barbell lifting, like Tanner Shuck would say, and insults everybody who doesn't do what he does. Tanner, I can get to you. I can get to that level. I can get to his level. Most people aren't getting to this level. And when it comes to kettlebell extremes, I'm not even top of the heap. The kettlebell sport people are. That's a whole other mountain. I had trouble at my peak training with this, envisioning myself on that level. Ain't no fucking YouTube fitness normie getting to that level. They're not even getting to the level that I was before I decided to go to the gym and start that shit up again. But as I adapted to strength training, I will adapt or readapt to this. And I will be the king of the fucking mountain. Once again. Well, like I said a couple months ago, I was doing the gym. No, what I said was I was going to focus more on the kettlebells again, but I had already injured my back at that point from the gym, and the kettlebells aggravated my back injury. And I said once I get to the point where I can do kettlebells again without the back flaring up, I was probably done with the gym. And once I realized I was back to that point, I just kind of lost interest in the powerlifting thing. It's just, to me, it's not worth it. Especially seeing how far my conditioning has fallen. According to this thing, I have burnt 110 calories on the treadmill or the bike in 20 minutes at the level 4 intensity. So that's neat. And I've been on the bike for 22 minutes. So I'm done with the bike. I'm obviously done with the kettlebells. I'm going to wring out my clothes and I'm going to go guzzle all of the water. Because I seriously need the water. Maybe what I should do, just to give you all an idea. It got stuck. And it's hard to breathe when I get my shirt stuck. There's already not a lot of oxygen in here. Okay. This is my shirt post kettlebells. Yeah. That's why in the warmer months I don't wear long pants when I do these generally. I'm not bringing out the trunks on camera. Peace.